What is your "we will never speak of this again" moment? Farted very loud with rumbling at my grandmother's funeral, during her sister's eulogy speech. I was 17. Holy shit. Me and one of my friends were hanging out when we were probably 10 or 11. We went behind an elementary school on the weekend to play, and ended up going behind a dumpster, and getting naked and looking at each other. We never hung out again, and every time we saw each other throughout high school it was a little weird. A friend accidentally sent me a pic of his junk on Snapchat, that was clearly meant for someone else. He excused himself 100 times. He has a huge ducking dick though. Saw my friend's mom topless by accident. We don't talk about it. Was weird going to his house the next day. Could not make eye contact with her after that. Was having quite rough sex with my ex-girlfriend, and we thought we were home alone, so she decided that she'd scream the house down with her moaning. Screams "duck me daddy," really loudly, and when we finish about 10 minutes later, we go to the bathroom to clean up. Bump into her then 14-year-old brother on the landing, and make direct eye contact with him. He just looks at me oddly and grimaces at his older sister. I still cringe to this day. My mom told me her Hitachi wand was a back massager, it disappeared when she found out I used it as one. Edit, I used it as a back massager. It didn't work very well as one. So my friends and I were playing Never Have I Ever, and I brought up that I'd never had a hickey. They decided to change that, so two of them pinned me down while two others sucked on opposite sides of my neck. No one was really sure how it got to that point, but it happened and hasn't been brought up since. My mom walked in on me getting a BJ in high school. She immediately did a beeline in the opposite direction and said I didn't see anything. Then the girl and I went and ate dinner with them at our dinner table and we never spoke of it again. My mum heard me talking to my best friend about the new edition of International Club Orn magazine that had Jerry Halliwell naked in it. I got back from school one day and there was a brown paper bag on the sofa, which my mum edged towards me and walked off. 14-year-old me was forever grateful. You're the best, mum. Before going further, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel to get future updates. This will really help me. Had to stay with a work friend one night as we had a conference in his hometown the next day. It was weird enough staying in his spare room, but to top things off he had a fancy modern bathroom with a square toilet. Switch of course, I blocked in the morning with a turd the size of MT Fuji. After 30 minutes of fruitless searching for a plunger, while the situation went from bad to worse, he knocked on the door and asked if I was okay. I had to tell him not to come in, but to just hand me a ducking plunger and some bleach. Apparently his GF did the same thing the first night she stayed at his place, so at least I'm not alone. To this day I cannot look him in the eye at work. I was at a pool party in 8th grade, I think I may have been swimming around or sitting weirdly, but I remember a friend of mine told me, "Dude, I just saw your dick." Me, no you didn't. Friend, you're right, I didn't. Never spoke about him seeing my dick again. One time I was taking a poop and feeling very faint. I started getting cold sweats, feeling dizzy and lightheaded. In a panic I shouted for my wife to come help me. As she entered the room I proceeded to faint. Fall off the toilet and roll my body to side to prevent injury. Mid-fall a solid turd torpedoed out of my butt across the floor leaving a trail of poop smear. When I came to, my wife was standing there in shock. I got up, grabbed some toilet paper and picked up my shame and we never spoke of it again. I had surgery over the weekend and have been extremely constipated. Yesterday I was squatting over a toilet, crying with a jar of Vaseline sitting next to me. My friend, who had come to visit, opened the bathroom door and made eye contact with me, as I was attempting to birth 5 days of fecal matter. She then slowly backed out and shut the door. Last week, I was in the separate bathroom at work, pooping and just buying some time until the end of the day. There wasn't much to do. I accidentally had the door unlocked and this guy at my work opened it and saw me on the toilet, and I didn't know what to say, so I said hi, beaming face with smiling eyes. Before the end of the day I told him that, whatever that was, didn't happen. My wife and I were at my cousin's apartment in a big city. They have a balcony on the 40th something floor. We were all outside on the balcony drinking some beers and getting a little drunk. My wife rests her beer can, thank God it was a can and not a bottle or glass, on the railing of the balcony. I scold her and go to move it when my half-drunk and clumsy self knocks it off, and we watch in horror as it falls in slow motion 40 stories, and hits the ground like a bullet next to a crowd of people. We never mentioned it to anyone. When my best friend died, we figured he would have liked a sky burial kind of. So at the height of the funeral party we released his ashes into heavens with a giant balloon. After a few meters of flight the string has snapped, and his remains covered the mourning crowd. Everyone made their best efforts to get very drunk as soon as possible. We will never speak of this ever. We were at a friend's hanging out. He invited a few girls over and one of the guys knew where his nut rag was kept. Someone went to the kitchen and used tongs to grab it and show off. The girls asked what it was and we began to just silently sit there thinking of something. My high school girlfriend asked if she could mail some sexy underwear/kink stuff to my house, because she couldn't pass off getting mail when her parents collect it. Fine with my family is very serious about privacy. However, my neighbor wasn't, and the mailman delivered it to her house. She opened it not realizing it was addressed to my house. She panicked, not knowing what to do, and brought it to my house. I wasn't home, so my older sister collected it and left it on my bed. When I returned home, all my sister said was, "There's a package on your bed and we're never speaking of this again." I found it hysterical. My girlfriend was mortified. My divorced dad was playing horseshoes in a league with my aunt, mom's sister. They went together one night when I was about 16. I went to a friend's house to sleep over and didn't think any more of it. Until I got home the next morning and her car was still in the driveway. Innocent and stupid me went into the house expecting my aunt to maybe be crashed on the couch or something. Then I heard the shower running and thought, weird, maybe she's taking a shower before she leaves. Then I heard my dad's laugh coming from the bathroom with my aunt laughing too. I tiptoed out of the house and went right back to my friend's house completely flabbergasted by what I just walked in on. I had internal bleeding and really low blood pressure. I was in the hospital and instructed to not try to stand or walk since I'd faint. I didn't obey that. I went to take a piss and my girlfriend saw and chased after me. She caught up just in time to throw herself between me and the floor, to prevent me from cracking my head open as I fell back unconscious, dick out, peeing all over everything on the way down. I awoke with her sandwiched between me and the tile floors, lying in a pool of my piss. And that's actually the moment I realized I should marry that girl. I did. But that's not the story I tell when someone asked, "When did you know she was the one?" This is my friend's story. She smoked weed a bit in high school but obviously hid it from her parents. This one time she came downstairs in the morning to find a joint sitting on the kitchen counter. She knew for sure it wasn't hers and that she wouldn't be stupid enough to leave one out like that. Her mother soon after walked downstairs and started cleaning up around the kitchen. When she ran into the joint, she paused, locked eyes for a bit with my friend, said "Oh," and quickly brushed it into her hand and got rid of it. They both pretended it never happened. Matched with my cousin on Tinder. I was like, wow, she is ho. Oh my god, that's my cousin, while swiping. It all happened so fast. Same thing must have happened to her because we matched. I just messaged her and said we never speak of this, agreed. And she said agreed. And we've never spoken about it? Things are weird around the holidays. We just kinda make eye contact and then one of us finds a reason to leave the room immediately to go and talk to other family members who we have not matched with on Tinder. I came home from a week at Girl Scout camp at 13, and discovered a tick the size of a thumbtack, attached to a very private place. I had to go to my mom and get her to help detach it. When she finished, she told me we didn't ever have to talk about this again if I didn't want to. Her tone made it clear that she certainly didn't want to. Thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe.